Welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, September 29th, 2015. I'm FRASER with the details. The president of the National Omnibus Association says they will no longer be ignored by the government and urges members and all other omnibus owners and operators across the country to prepare to take action. The president, who is also an omnibus operator, says that the decision to take industrial action is the result of what he terms as total neglect from the government. Anthony Bacchus told SVG-TV News that some of the reasons why they will be peacefully demonstrating their discontent on October 12th are bad roads that damage their vehicles and the government's inability to work with them to improve the transport system of SVG. He says all van drivers and owners need to show their commitment to the cause, as it is time that the government realizes that the majority of public servants on mainland St. Vincent depend on the service that the omnibuses provide.
What about us, the van drivers who keep the country running, who take the doctors to work, the nurses, the teachers, the children to school, the people to work, shopping, the old people? We get no respect from the government, so we have to take a stand. Finally, we're going to take a stand. And we are asking everyone in St. Vincent, all motorists that these roads are affecting, to please come forward and stand up, because it's about time we get these roads fixed. On October 12th, we're asking everybody, school, not to go to school because there won't be no transportation. Leeward side, all the buses on the Leeward side, they're not going to work. Windward side, they're not going to work. They are going to stay off the road. Yes, everything we try, they neglect us. We get no respect from the government. But yet still, we see that the government is giving out material to people, and the same material that could be used to fix the roads. Some places you could put some cement in there temporarily to stop up some of these holes. These roads are bad all over, and it's causing us a lot of damage. So what we planned on doing is to withdraw our service on October 12th.
Additionally, Bacchus says that NOBA wants everyone to understand that this is not about politics but about business, adding that it is very costly to operate a minivan in SVG due to the deplorable conditions of the roads.
Because we don't get nothing. We don't get no subsidy. We get nothing. We get no respect from the government, the van drivers. All the kind of what we get is neglect. And I'm advising, don't bring your bus out. Leave your bus home, because we do not want no problems with the police. We're not going to give them the advantage to cause chaos, to cause maybe election to be put off or whatever. We don't want that. This is nothing political. This is personal. Okay, this is business. We are doing a business. The road is where we do our business, and these roads are not getting attention. So these roads are costing these vans a lot of money on repairs. Tires getting busted, tires getting punctured, bushings, shocks, sometimes even the brakes fall out, the disc pads fall out. A lot of repairs has to be done on these buses, so it comes like they're spinning top in mud. We are not making no profit.
He further calls on the government to start fixing the Belmont Road that collapsed a few years ago, stating it is inconveniencing everyone. Bacchus says though the government announced that it was going to invest $30 million into roadworks, in his opinion, there's nothing more than unfinished scattered projects all over the country. He says at the end of it, all the association hopes is there will be more willingness from the government to address their concerns.
But something has to be done to get their attention so we could get these roads fixed, because we cannot keep running our vehicles, our vans 13 hours a day on these bad roads. Some of these areas, look, Belmont, the road in Belmont caved in years ago. There's nothing being done. These vans have to make a detour that's very, very difficult. Morning, noon, and night. Very, very difficult. Nothing is being done. But yet still, you could take a lot of money, invest it to benefit yourself. What about the citizens of St. Vincent? How about benefiting the people of St. Vincent and fix the roads? Not only for the van drivers, but other motorists that's getting their vehicles damaged. Okay, so please, October 12th, we're asking everybody stay home. This is a peaceful protest where we're trying to send a message so we can get these roads fixed. Try to get the roads fixed, little pieces, will employ and put money in people's pockets. Also, it would help us to preserve our vehicles.
In related news, in a telephone interview with SVG-TV News, Minister of State with responsibility for transport and works, Julian Francis, says that he is surprised at the declaration of the National Omnibus Association to take industrial action. Francis says that he has not had any discussions with NOBA, and the decision to strike comes as a total shock. Francis says that as a motorist, he too, along with other ministers of government who utilize the roads, experienced the effects to their vehicles due to the deteriorating conditions, and that currently numerous road repair projects are being undertaken. However, they are not moving as quickly due to the rains and other setbacks. In regard to the Belmont Road that collapsed a few years ago, Francis says that work is in fact being done, but more geologically than physically. He said, contrary to what persons may see, the Belmont Road has not gone off the drawing board for the Ministry of Transport and Works. However, the necessary instruments and documents are not ready to commence physical work. Francis says he sympathizes with passengers as well as omnibus operators, and they will be ramping up their efforts in the coming weeks to make their commute a bit more tolerable. This country's Prime Minister, Dr. Gonsalves, is accusing the opposition New Democratic Party, or the NDP, of not being serious about disaster preparedness. At the town hall meeting in New York last Saturday, Prime Minister Gonsalves, who is also Minister of Disaster Preparedness, says that in the NDP's era, there were only 2 persons heading that unit. Dr. Gonsalves said today his Unity Labour Party, or the ULP administration, has a comprehensive disaster management strategy and headquarters operated by a team of personnel with various expertise.
You can't head NEMO unless you have a master's degree in a particular range of expertise areas and supporting staff, buttressed by a modern law which provides for a comprehensive management strategy, comprehensive disaster management strategy, proper allocation of resources, with a structure, with a National Emergency Management Council headed by this man. I am the Minister of Disaster Preparedness. The reason why, if you have a natural disaster, who you want to hear talk? You want to hear somebody lower down the totem pole, or you want to hear the man at the top?
The New Democratic Party, the NDP candidate for the Central Leeward constituency, Benjamin Exter, is promising that his party will ensure that the teachers in this country are, quote, taken care of, unquote. At a meeting in Chateaubriand on Saturday evening, Exter claims the government is being frivolous with its spending, while teachers are made to suffer.
We can afford to buy cement, lumber, and galvanized to give away, but we can afford to pay the teachers. We can afford to pay large salaries to people who should be retired 15, 20 years ago. 85-year-old man making $30,000, $40,000 a year, but yet we can't afford to pay the teachers. Does that make any sense to you? The teachers are our national treasures. They are the ones who will nourish and mind our young children the future tomorrow. But yet they're not taken care of. They should be taken care of a lot better than that. And under the NDP, they will be taken care of.
With general elections just around the corner, the SVG Green Party is putting together its slate of candidates. Kadimel McPhee, who is looking to contest the South Central Windward seat on the Green Party ticket, says that he is saddened to see his homeland tarnished and held down. Asked why he chose to get into the political race and why the Green Party, the ex-British Army soldier says he has made a difference in many other places in the world and truly wants to make a difference in his homeland. The soon-to-be 36-year-old from the Greg's Mesopotamia area explains that he is impressed by the initiatives of the Green Party.
But for me, I look at this more than politics. For me, this has to be a life-changing event, not just for myself, but for St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a whole. And how do you do that? You do that with a government that is realistic and has the real ability to make change, and that is the SVG Green Party. So my reason for joining the SVG Green Party above all is because it's the first party that's ready to come forward and deliver the real impact to make change. That is 1, putting a windfall tax on Mustique, 2, putting a windfall tax on Taiwan, 3, obviously making sure the people of Canada paying their taxes, and above all, if they refuse to do this, they pack their bags and leave. That is the first stance to generate real revenue in this country. This was going on in St. Vincent even before I was born, and at this stage I'm seeing a government that's saying, hey, all this was wrong, let's make a change. That's the first realistic action here that's going to happen in St. Vincent. Above all, that's why I joined the Green Party.
McPhee is of the view that too many facilities, including those which offer health care, have deteriorated, and that he's worried that civil conflict could break out because, as he puts it, many Vincentians are frustrated.
I have taken the opportunity to scrutinize St. Vincent and the Grenadines with anxious scrutiny, and having done so, I have come to find that not only is the medical facilities completely deteriorated, or beaches completely ignored, or even you take a look at the islands where blacks live on one side, Bacchus and white live on the other. But it gets more serious. There's now a feeling of fear amongst the people, in my personal opinion, a strong feeling of fear, where the people feel now as if they can lose their jobs if they say something, or their jobs isn't secure if they pick a particular party. That's not the St. Vincent I knew a few years ago. That's, we're going down the road of Afghanistan and Iraq here. It's a serious road, and above all, Vincentians, what I want to say to them is you really have to come out and change this government and make hard decisions, because if you don't do that, there's only one step after this, and that step is civil conflict. No one wants to go there, but that's where we will go, and that's not very nice.
And leader of the SVG Green Party, Ivan O'Neill, says he's pleased to have McPhee on his team, and if his party is elected into government, he will be given the post as Minister of National Security. O'Neill says McPhee's heart is in the right place, and he has chosen a political party that can help to make real change in this country.
Well educated, well traveled, has an amount of discipline and determination, and those two components are very important. So I think we're going forward, but I think we will do well this election here. People will listen to us. People who want positive change. So there's no one in the NDP and the ULP can touch Ivan O'Neill. I went to a top university in England, Oxford Brookes, and I studied there for 3 years full time, reading finance and accounting. So that's a tremendous strength. Brother McPhee would make, in my opinion, an excellent Minister for National Security in our country. So those are significant attributes we want. But we want change here. We need a strong economy. We want a university. We need factories. And above all, people need jobs so that you can have money in your pocket or your wallet and be able to look after the family. So those are the components, the variables that we're going to produce at this next election.
In the 2010 general elections, the SVG Green Party fielded a few candidates who failed to secure their deposits. The Regional Security System Training Institute's Crime Scene First Responders Course 2015 opened here yesterday. The course is being held to provide participants with the skills and knowledge necessary to function as first responders at a crime scene. The course will conclude on Friday, October 2nd, 2015. Superintendent of Police Glenn Paul of Grenada made remarks representing the Regional Security System Training Institute. He told the participants that at the end of the course they should be able to explain the principles of crime scene prevention and understand the 4 stages of a crime scene.
In the RSSTM is that this training district can be an instrument that will transform the way we operate, ladies and gentlemen. The aim of this training here this morning is to give you the skills and knowledge to function as first responders at the scene of crime. At the end of this training, at the end of this week, most of you will be able, if not all of you will be able to protect crime scene, collection of evidence, maintain the integrity and continuity of evidence. Too many times, there are fragmentation in the way we operate. We expect your full participation in this process so that you can become sufficiently familiar and comfortable with content that will be delivered here this week.
The coordinator of the Crime Scene First Responders Program, Camicia Blake Byam, encouraged the participants to observe as much information as possible throughout the course, noting that as law enforcement agents, they need to make adjustments in order to keep up with the new and different techniques used by criminals. Blake Byam said that at the end of the course, the officers should have a greater appreciation for forensics and physical evidence, and that their duty as first responders is to maintain the integrity of the crime scene until technicians and investigators arrive.
I want to encourage you to absorb as much information as possible, because the dynamics of crime is changing and we must retool and build capacity in our personnel. The filtration of CSI movies and series continue to educate the criminals and even the lawyers, and we as police officers must make the necessary adjustments. Ideally, when you complete this course, your appreciation for forensic and physical evidence and your approach for crime scenes will be greater. Because we must recognize that the investigation begins at the crime scene, and your duty as a first responder is to maintain the integrity of that scene until the technicians and investigators arrive. Therefore, our obsolete practices must stop.
Also addressing the participants was Deputy Commissioner of Police Renold Hadaway. He urged those involved to participate fully, noting that training of this nature will empower them to make better decisions.
Training of this nature will empower you. It will empower each and every one of us to make better decisions as we depart here. At least this is what is expected upon your completion of this training. If you were to return to your various stations and posts without making any adjustment to the way you execute or perform your duty on a normal basis, you would have failed yourself, as was highlighted earlier on. Superintendent Paul said you would have failed yourself and you would have failed the organization. I am taking it a bit further to say that you would also fail the people of the country, people that we serve.
The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank has announced that a limited quantity of painted commemorative circulation $1 coins be issued in October. This is in observance of the 50th anniversary of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Authority, the ECCA banknotes, and the 32nd anniversary of the ECCB. The coin is the exact shape and size of the existing $1 coin. The bank says the reverse side of the coin will bear some of the features of the ECCA $1 banknote, which is no longer in circulation, while the obverse side will carry the usual portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. The Royal Canadian Mint, which has been minting EC currency coins for the past 5 years, used pad printing technology in the production of the new colorful coin. According to the ECCB, this method represents the next step in the evolution of painted coins and results in greater resistance to wear and tear. The ECCB is the monetary authority for Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, the Commonwealth of Dominica, Grenada, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Dwayne Moses, a 21-year-old laborer of Rowan Hill, has been sentenced to an 8-month jail term on a charge of burglary. The sentence was handed down on Monday, September 28, 2015, when he appeared at the Serious Offences Court and pleaded guilty to entering the property of Mary Bailey, a retired nurse of the same address, on September 21st this year as a trespasser with the intent to commit an offense. The court heard on the date in question, Bailey secured her home and went to bed. She subsequently awoke and saw her television on. Having made checks, she saw the defendant asleep on a couch. The police were summoned and Moses was arrested, and 20-year-old Roger Clark of Dorsetshire Hill has been arrested and charged for the offense of robbery. He is accused of using an unknown object, depriving Omal John, a carpenter of Fairburn Pasture, of 1 gold chain and $500 in cash. The incident is reported to have occurred at Sign Hill at about 6:45 p.m. on Monday, September 14th, 2015. Clark appeared at the Serious Offences Court today and was not allowed to plead to the charge, which was laid indictable. He has been remanded into custody until December 16th this year, when the date is expected to be set for the preliminary inquiry. The National Heritage Organization will be holding a Raga Soca and Soca competition as part of the Heritage Village on Saturday, October 24th, 2015 at Heritage Square. The organization is asking interested persons to hand in a copy of their song in a sealed envelope along with an entry form. Member of the organization, Ezzy Roberts, says the competition is an initiative to have Soca and Raga Soca music heard outside the carnival season. He said that the deadline for entries is October 13th and that there are 4 grand prizes to be won, including the prize for the People's Choice Award. The Heritage Village will run from October 20th to 27th with different activities on each day. The Heritage Organization would also like to inform the public that Kamisha Llewellyn, the representative of the host school, the Girls High School, would no longer be participating in the pageant. The school would now be represented by the first runner-up in the internal Miss Heritage pageant, Keithrill Miller.